It's morning of day 2, and we've seen a few deer. Came over this little rise and picked up a buck up on this top here. He went up and over. We didn't get the best look at him, but then right below him we've eventually picked up a young buck, and there was another buck with him and a doe, and they just boogied across here. But 3 bucks in this one little tiny spot. They're like in this tall grass, this yellow grass. It feels like we're just getting into the good stuff here, so pretty good sign. They're rutting, definitely rutting. A doe tried to sneak out of there, and they were hot on her tail. At least 2 of them were, but not a bad start to day 2.
Morning of the second day, and we've seen quite a few deer this morning, and finally found a cluster of deer kind of with some rut action going on, and we spotted 3 bucks and 1 doe kind of all on this little hillside in front of us. We're not far from any of them, and at first it was just 1 buck, and then another deer, and then another deer. I can see him right now running across this flat. Anyway, these deer are rutting, that's for sure. One of the bucks was not bad. He saw a doe. A doe got up and started to walk off, and he was on her, man. He was after her fast. There's another buck that we saw, never got the camera on it, that just kind of crested this hilltop and then disappeared. But good rut action right here. Pretty happy with that. The buck under the tree, it's funny, he's under the tree, and then I saw another buck just materialize. I think it was bedded right there, but we couldn't see it. And then we saw like a hawk, and the 2 bucks and the hawk are all in the same frame before that bigger buck ran off chasing that doe. But yeah, there's a little bit of hot rut action right here. Pocket of deer. We love that. That's what we're looking for. It's funny, as we came over the hill, they kind of laid down, and then after, because they heard us coming, and then after we sat here for a while, they finally started getting up and moving around. So they definitely, when they hear people, they duck away, but they didn't run away. They just laid down until they thought we were gone. Pretty cool, though. Good morning so far. It's beautiful. So, Ryan and I have our packs on, and we're creeping out to the tip of this peninsula that overlooks a big canyon. We're gonna throw some glass up over here and see what we can see. We got eyes on that buck a second time. The one that chased that doe out from under that tree. And we're actually really surprised at how big how heavy the antlers are on that deer. I think Ryan made the comment. He's like, Brian, I think every deer we see is going to be a lot heavier than we think. Probably right. This looks really good. Wow.
just got over to our glass knob, and you can see everything. We can see a lot. It's nice. It's perfect for Coues. And we got a buck down below us here. A couple 100 yards is all.
Yeah, his ears are perked up.
Yeah, he's definitely ready. Hopefully there's a bigger buck around, because he doesn't have any does. It's just him. But he's just down here scraping and juicing up his glands and looking for the ladies. It'd be an easy shot from here, but we got a lot to look at. Oh, there's another one. Second one just came out. Oh, we got the doe that just showed up. Man, she came out of nowhere. He was, now he sees her. Hopefully she's got another big boy in tow, but this guy's showing off for her. He's not a bad buck. He's pretty, but you know, Brian wants ridiculous, heavy and trashy, thick horns. He's not into pretty anymore, so it's just massive tank or nothing.
That's right.
Quite the Coues deer snob.
It's a really cool setup right here. We got this buck down here. He's got a doe with him. That doe, she keeps looking up the hill like there's another deer down there. And it's interesting because that buck's not pushing her around or doing anything with her. He's kind of just standing off nearby. Makes us wonder if he's the dominant buck or if there's a more dominant buck somewhere just hidden though. But this is a beautiful little basin here. These deer are right next to us. I mean, they're so close. They I think they can hear us whispering. I swear they hold up when we start to talk a little. It's wild. But so far we've been seeing quite a few deer. Some nice ones too. Just nothing we quite wanna pull the trigger on, but this little basin is gorgeous. Well, Ryan and I split up. He went over on this hill over here to get a good view of this basin a little bit further over, and I'm making my way to the tip of this ridge where he won't have visibility from his spot to look into this other cut. See if we can catch a big buck on the move. Well, I've been glassing from this rock outcrop for about 3 hours. I've seen 4 bucks and like 3 does. The bucks are all young. See if I can get out of this wind. Alright, well, I've been glassing from this rock outcrop for about 3 hours. Just tucked in here to get the microphone out of the wind. But I've been glassing this rock outcrop, and I can see this whole basin beneath me. I've seen like 3 or 4 bucks. It's getting late. It's already getting toward 5 o'clock. We'll see what the evening brings. Yesterday, the evening was pretty dead. I'm hoping this basin is better. no luck tonight. Last night and tonight haven't been great. The evening hunt has been pretty pathetic, really. Just getting a glimpse of something far away, a run and chasing a doe and then disappearing. That's about what we get. This basin is full of deer. I watched the deer go in. I saw them walking around all afternoon, just 2 or 3 bucks just walking around, and then another buck later, and does. They're in there, and I could hear them blowing, and yet they never came out. It's like they just bedded for the day around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and said, that's it, we'll see you tomorrow. I don't know if that's kind of going to be the norm on this hunt. We'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do much at night. They settle down real early. And if that's the case, we gotta capitalize in the mornings, in the afternoon, late afternoon at the latest. It's also going to be tough on a Coues deer to get a shot on a deer just before the sun goes down. But again, I think they tuck in pretty early. But we'll see. I could be totally wrong. It's only been 2 days. We got at least 7 more to go. So we'll see. Well, we've been glassing here all day, all morning. It's almost 9 o'clock, which is about the time we see him moving. But it's been dead. We haven't seen a single deer. Well, actually, Ryan just spotted a deer about 4 miles away on the top of a mountain. Anyway, we're going to pick up and circle around to the backside of this basin and see what's on the other side. Spotted that big buck on the first day. We just climbed this hill, and it gets us up on top on this little ridge that looks down on a little bowl, a couple little pockets where those deer were rutting the day before yesterday. So hopefully we can pick them up again. Today does not appear to be a really great rut day, but we'll see. There's no wind either. It is quiet, which I haven't noticed over the years that super hot weather bothers these Coues deer. Haven't really noticed that. And it also seems like they prefer no wind. The less wind, the more comfortable they are moving around. So anyway, we're just gonna get up here and glass. This is the last known location. It's the scene of the crime. So all we can do is get over here and do our best. See if we can pick something up. Yeah, this is the spot.
This is what you call a slow day. A very slow day.
Bit of an understatement, isn't it?
It's, we've seen one doe this morning.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we saw a doe.
We did see a deer.
Saw
I
one.
0.
I mean, she was 5 miles away, standing at a statue. But yeah, we put ourselves in some what we thought to be pretty good spots this morning, and we're getting blanked. It's nothing, just nothing moving at all. It's warming up. It's hot. It's going to be a hotter day than we've had, but I don't know. Hopefully they're just late to move around, because we've seen them move around at 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But boy, we've glassed a lot this morning and just haven't picked up anything. We're in the spot where that real nice buck was the first day, but we haven't even seen any movement in here at all, so I don't know. Hopefully they're just late. But we got all day to sit on this spot and hopefully get that big buck back.
It's been really, really exciting today. It's warm. It's a hotter day for sure. There's not even a breeze. Still, I mean, we're glassing 360. It's not like we're just focused on a little pocket. But we haven't seen any deer movement.
I mean, if deer don't want to be seen in this country, they'll never be seen in this country, because there's thickness and water everywhere. They don't have to come out if they don't want to come out. But
They, when I first saw them day before yesterday, they went down
into the area where we can't even look into.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
Unless you want to climb that mountain over there. But even then, you couldn't see it.
I feel like we were looking at the other side of this all morning, looking up.
Yep.
We saw no movement. So naturally we thought, maybe they're up in this little feed area, the tall grass.
I think a lot of times when people are Coues deer hunting, they sit, they do what we've done today, and they go, the deer moved, they're not here.
Oh,
But
they're here somewhere.
if you've hunted Coues long enough, there could be 20 of them right here.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
If they don't get up and they don't do something, you're not going to see them. That's just, you're not going to find them.
No.
They have to. That's where the rut is so critical. It helps so much for those big bucks.
We came in here the other day, and we were looking at this, and then that buck was there, probably bedded,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just stood up, and then we saw him. But if they're bedded in this stuff, with this tall grass, this brush, odds are pretty slim you're going to pick them up. Well, as soon as we thought it was going to be a slow day, our buck just came out.
That's it.
Well, it's a buck. Let's verify it, but... So... Oh, jeez. Bouncing.
He's gone.
Gosh. I got him right when he bounced over that ridge. Well, that was quick.
He's jumping. He was jumping.
He just walked down the ridge, got in the timber, got out into the open for a few seconds, and just bounced right out of there.
He's a big 3x3 with eye guards, and then he wrapped around, and he had that little pinch right here.
Oh, he did. Oh, man. Right where we thought he'd be.
I think that's him.
I couldn't tell when I saw him. I just couldn't tell if he had those big, heavy beams on the front, but...
But he bounced. Like,
Dude, he was zipping.
he was looking behind him like the whole time. Like he's being chased or followed.
saw him hop over that like he was hopping over a fence or something.
Yeah.
Bounced right off that ridge.
Oh, I see. There's another something over there. Oh, yes. Look at him go, dude.
Yeah, that's him.
He is breathing hard. I can see his breath.
He'll come our way. He'll come right over here.
Need him to stop running around.
Yeah, that's a heavy sucker.
He's back.
He looks heavy here. Well, we got our big buck. He came back over the ridge. And now he's right where we were hoping he was going to be. He's heavy. He's a stud buck. Gosh, that's a pretty rack. Big old swooping main beams. He must have had a long night. He's feeding hard. Grabbing grass and moving. He looks like one of those classic whitetail, non-Coues whitetail, doesn't he?
Yeah, look how he walks with his tail up like he's some kind of dog.
Yeah, he looks scrappy. I think he's on the scent of that other little buck. But, dude, he's so sketchy. He's just like tuned in. Yeah, he's a good buck. Should we go kill him? Yeah,
we should kill him for sure. How, though?
So he's coming our way. I mean, ideally, he'll walk right to us. But the likelihood of that happening is not great. Look how they just run everywhere they go. Just trotting. They just never sit still.
Well, we just saw him. That buck just cruised through. We thought he might come over here and give us a shot, but he motored back the way he came and went back up the ridge where he came down from earlier. I think he's got a hot doe over there probably. And he just frantically motored down to see if there's any other hot does. And I think that's why, one of the reasons he's all sketchy looking is because the whole time he's away, he's like, I hope she doesn't leave, I hope she doesn't leave.
Yeah, he looks frantic.
He looks frantic, yeah. Ryan was just saying how, because he was way more chill day before yesterday when he was over there. Way more chill. But we got a game plan. We're going to go get in those rocks. And then try to kill him from there, so
Go get that.
let's do it. This is gorgeous up here. Alright, well, we made our way around to the top. We're about 500 yards from the peak where we should be able to get a bird's eye view of that buck. we showed up. There's water back there. Where we're headed, we should have a nice 300-yard view of the ridge he's been running. Keeps going back and forth across this ridge. The first time I saw him, he was putting a scrape under this tree limb and licking and eating this branch, rubbing his antlers. So he's got a spot. I saw him do it a couple of times. So he's definitely marking his spots with those scrapes. It's pretty cool.
See everything from up here. Can see everything. It's great. We can see where those bucks dropped in the other day. And just over to our right is where that buck ended up just a bit ago. Heading back up, so they'll get perched up on this tip here so we can see. Sweet. Nice easy 300-yard shot if he comes through our little pass here. Last we saw him, he was about 350 coming this way. He's probably bedded somewhere. It's gonna be a long day of waiting him out probably.
When he comes across this and he disappears up this ridge, we saw him run down. We saw the does do the same thing that first day. Do you think he's coming from the top then?
I think so.
Bedding up there.
Right up on that bench, maybe.
And then he comes down.
Because when we last saw him, like they've been coming right down that
Yeah,
edge.
yeah.
Right up on there.
The other place I saw him was coming down, and then they hit this dark green patch.
Yeah.
And they pop out of that stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason they always end up in that little tree spot right there. But there's some brush.
Alright, we're gonna do some reconnaissance. Figure out shooting the best last sniper spot. See if we can get set up over this where we have a shot in all directions. 200 to 300 yard shot. And hopefully he comes out and runs his circuit. If not, we're tightening the noose. If we don't see him today, he'll probably come back and run his circuit tomorrow, and when he does, we'll kill him then, but there's a good chance he does it again today. Ryan got over there to do a little spying. I'm gonna put the camera away and I'll get back to you guys later after we find a spot to perch up. Got stood up for our date tonight. Mr. Big Handsome didn't show up. I'm gonna have to nickname this buck tonight so I can start giving him a name. It's what you're supposed to do with whitetail. But yeah, he used the tried and true Houdini. We'll come up with a good name. We'll just look at like an old, whitetail hunting episode on YouTube, and we'll find a couple names. Nah, it's been we're in a good spot. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time before he comes back through here. But the only downside is we got other bucks to kill. But we're tightening the noose. This is a great spot. Hopefully he spins through here at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's kind of what his rounds have been, so hopefully he's a creature of habit. And he shows us a glimpse again. I mean, that was cool today. Like, we know he's in the area. We gave him a full day where we didn't see him, and come back a day later, 2 days later, and he's on the same pattern. It's a good sign. Hopefully he's still here, and we'll see him in the morning. He was grabbing a lot of bites of grass when he first showed up. He was just like eating like crazy, and also making his rounds. He was sniffing the ground, and obviously he was kind of checking the area, getting some food, and then running back. He acted like he had a hot dough somewhere, and he had left her for a little bit, and then he was running back, left her to check the area and mark his spots. So hopefully that's downfall and we get him tomorrow.
All right, folks, thanks for watching this week's episode. Brad and I have a couple things we want to share with you regarding how the hunt went down, do a little post-hunt breakdown, and get into the details of some things that were left out of the film and things that we think you'll find quite useful on your own hunts coming down the road. Before we do that, we want to thank you all for supporting us. We were just talking about this before we hit the record button.
Yeah.
That we got a lot of comments last week of people just saying, thanks for all you do. Thanks for the films that you create for us, for taking the time to do the edits that you do. And we're over here thinking, thank you for supporting us, because it's not lost on us that we wouldn't be able to do what we do if you weren't here helping us out and supporting our show. And we're grateful. Ryan was selling fish bait, and Brad was over here doing.
I was smacking rail on the railroad. So.
Yeah, he was building railroads. I had a cushy IT job, but nowadays we get to do this stuff and bring it to you. It fulfills us in so many ways, and we couldn't do it without you and your support. So we just want to say thank you for that. If you left a comment last week, you're entered to win a pair of trekking poles. Brad's going to scroll through right now and find us a winner.
We got
a random selection. And if you want to win trekking poles or be entered to win trekking poles for next Sunday, just leave us a comment below on the film you just watched, and like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have a buddy you can share it with, that would be great too. Yep. So Brad, who is our winner for the trekking poles?
Bam. Oh, Frank's Little Farm. Loved the spaghetti western themed intro. Looking forward to seeing how the story unfolds.
All right. Congratulations, brother.
Nice.
So you have now won yourself a pair of Peaks trekking poles. And if any of you want to win for next week, just leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to win a pair of crispy boots, Peaks trekking poles, Peaks gaiters, Peaks headlamp. What else we got? Sheep feet orthotics. We're calling this the ultimate backcountry hunting package. If you want to be entered to win that, all you got to do is buy a hat or a shirt or a sweatshirt over at the Gritty Store. Go to grittystore.com. You have between now and March 12th at midnight to get in on the giveaway. We can't thank you enough. Every Gritty hat, shirt, and sweatshirt that you buy continues to help us keep doing what we do, so we thank you. And we have a giveaway for Ryan and Hillary Lampers over at Stealthy. If you go and you get yourself some supplements, rifle cover, a glassing pad over there right now, you can be entered to win a prize package that Ryan Lampers has put together for y'all, which includes a PSE bow.
Yep.
Day 6 arrows.
Broadheads. You got a $500 gift card to the Go Hunt Gear Shop. You got an insider membership. That's a lifetime membership. And then you also have a chance to win a pass to the Western Hunting Summit, the Archery Elk Summit in June.
So if you head over to stealthyhunter.com, you'll find the rifle covers, the glassing pads. You'll find the CBD oils and the gummies, the sleep gummies. You'll find the bone broth proteins,
E-Charge,
the E-Charge, electrolytes. You said something earlier.
Bundles. So
The
they have
bundles.
multiple bundle packages.
So you can get a gut health bundle. There's a few other things in there. Can't recommend it enough. It's all good for you. All top-notch products. Dr. Hillary goes out of her way to make sure she's making a difference in your life with your health and nutrition. So check all that out. And it supports what we do as well. Helps Ryan and Hillary continue to do the fabulous work that they do. So get in on that. Just shop over at stealthyhunter.com. And you'll be entered to win that prize package.
Gives you one entry, and it closes the same date, March 12th at midnight.
Okay. All right, let's get into this hunt. Day 1, we spot this buck. He's a big buck, nice deer, but we weren't sure how big he is because it's really difficult to tell in the field. Now, you all are watching this beautiful 4K enhanced stabilized image on the computer screen, on your big screen.
Yeah.
That's not what we're seeing when we're looking through our little spotters and binos. It's shaky. There's heat waves. The color's off. So we knew he was a big deer. We didn't know how big he was.
Yeah.
And we made some jokes about it. Hey, we're going to get back to camp. We're going to pull it up on the computer screen. We're going to look at it, and we're going to say, you idiot, why didn't you shoot it? And in fact, that's exactly what happened.
Yes. I'm pretty sure my exact words were, Brian, you're an idiot for not shooting that buck.
Thank you. Everyone said so, and you're probably right. So we knew when we got back to camp that this buck is probably in that 110-inch range, plus or minus for a Coues deer, which makes him effectively a giant.
Yeah.
Some people say,
if you compare him to like, a mule deer, they're like, that's probably around a 212 to 210, 15-inch mule deer. So like, it's a good buck.
To put it in perspective for you guys who know about mule deer, that's what we're looking at in terms of quality of buck for Coues.
Yeah.
So they say. So he's a stud. I mean, anything over 100 inches is pretty spectacular.
Yes.
He's well over that for a Coues deer. So we realize when we're at camp that this is a buck that we don't want to let go. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, Lampers has to see what's around the corner. He has to go, we both do, explore some new region.
And that's the thing is it's like you're in a new area. It's day one. It's like you don't know what caliber of bucks are there. You don't know the terrain. Like there's something else that might be there.
The truth is we knew that we would be able to relocate this buck. We were almost 90% sure that we would be able to find him and get him if we chose to. And there's a few reasons for that. One is the home range of a Coues deer is really small.
Yes.
And a doe's home range is even smaller.
Much smaller. Like under 0.7 miles is what they say for a doe. A buck can be, I think, right around between 1.5 and 1.7 miles, something like that.
Some Coues deer experts will say that bucks have an average home range of 4 square miles, but spend the majority of their life in a core area of only 1.7 square miles. Mm-hmm. And for a doe, their home range is 2 square miles, but spend most of their time in a core area of only 0.7 square miles.
So small, so small.
So, you have a general idea that this buck is, once you see him in that area, the other thing is Coues deer bucks are very territorial. Mm-hmm. So, a young buck could get pushed out by another deer, but this is a giant. We know he's effectively a stud.
Yeah.
That means he owns this spot. It's not very likely that he's running up and down these ridges and there's something else in there that's as big as him or bigger. So now he's probably king, and we knew that. So we figured he's in his home spot. He's territorial. He has a small range. We'll be able to go back, and he'll be in relatively the same area. Mm-hmm. The other thing is I watched him work a scrape for a really long time on the first day in the morning, like a long time, and a little licking branch. So I was looking at this buck going, okay, this is a spot for him. This is a scrape. He's in his area. Mm-hmm. He's marking it. He's serious about it. So the other thing about Coues deer that I have read, and our own experience confirms it, Coues deer tend to form harems of does.
Yeah.
So they tend to have their 4 or 5 or 6 does that are kind of in their core spot. Remember, these does don't go more than 0.7 miles from where they spend almost their whole time there, which means they kind of get a harem, and so the bucks are tied to those does. Coues deer bucks don't necessarily just jet off like a mule deer in a migration route to just find does, and explore new country. They tend to get a group of does and sort of hoard them and stick with those, and they don't really venture too far off. Another thing about Coues deer that we've noticed is they're pocketed, especially in low density regions, which is where we're at. They're pocketed. So you find a pocket here, and it's like miles before you find the next pocket, and there's no deer in between, like hardly any. So when they're pocketed like that, it's even more likely you're going to be able to relocate them because they're just in that tiny spot. So all of that went into my decision not to shoot the buck on day one, with the confidence that if he did turn out to be large, big, mature buck that I wanted to get, I could go back and get him. Yeah. And so I was okay with leaving him. We took off the next day and explored new country. And the whole day I'm like, I just need to go kill that deer.
This is after the fact of like, we looked at him on the computer and we're like, dang, like that is a stud buck.
Great buck. Should have killed him on day one had I realized how big he was. But given the data that I was working with, I was very happy with my decision not to shoot him on that day. The second day, I basically indulged Ryan, and we went and checked out a new area. In the meantime, I just was dying to get back. The whole day we were in the canyon, I'm thinking about this deer and dreaming about this buck. And now that I have close-up images, I've actually downloaded them to my phone, and I'm looking at this giant, and comparing him to other deer. And I realize tomorrow we have to go for this buck. So the next morning we get over there and we start looking and looking and look, and we look, as you can see, all day, and we don't see a single deer. We saw one deer like 4 or 5 miles away. Ryan saw some doe just disappearing. And so again, we just try to close in, get another vantage point. We go back to the spot where we saw him that first day up close, and we get on that ridge and we wait. And just when we thought, this isn't going to happen, Boom, buck shows up.
Yep.
And he motors. He motors into view and out of view and over the ridge. And like within a minute or two, he bounces back. And if he weren't grabbing a few bites of grass, he would have just motored away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure that what he was doing was just over that rise where he had disappeared around that corner. There was a scrape in that licking branch and stuff. And I think he had just gone over there, marked his scrapes, checked them, did them, and then he was hustling back. And I think he had a hot doe back in the bedding spot. I don't know for sure, but whatever he was doing, he was definitely hitting the scrape.
Yeah.
Whether he had a doe ready or not, I don't know. So
man on a mission.
It was really cool to see him, and we knew, okay, boom, we are in his living room. We have the spot figured out. Now, there's something that some hunters refer to as the 7-day rule.
Yeah, which was once we read that was very, very interesting to me.
And I had heard about the 7-day rule years ago from like my buddy Anthony and others who hunted a lot of blacktail. Mm-hmm. And you hear about it from whitetail hunters, especially in areas where they're not migrating.
No migration or nothing.
Right?
They're just...
So what happens is, and I'll just read how it goes. It says the 7-day rule. In theory, the 7-day rule works like follows. A good buck will walk along a certain trail and visits a scrape, and you either see him or get him on trail camera. 1 year from that date, he should be visiting the same scrape and walking along the same trail. That's the premise. If all of the mentioned influences remain the same or relatively so, the buck will be on the same predictable pattern within the same week year after year.
Wow.
So
this is saying like you go back there, 365 days within 7 days of say November 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Forward on
that
the back
buck will
end
be
of the
hitting
front
that
end,
same
that
scrape
be there.
a year later in that same spot.
Wow.
So that's for very mature, dominant bucks that own the area, right? That don't get pushed out, that don't have other influences. Mm-hmm. So any buck that we saw this year, if we go back in those same dates next year in the same region, hitting a scrape, we ought to find that same buck that next year.
Yeah.
And when you read about some of these guys that consistently kill some big deer, especially on the non-migratory deer we're talking about, these old mature deer, they are often killed on that. The only time a guy saw them was on that one rub or that one scrape. November 5th. They come back a year later, and there he is within 7 days on that same scrape, year over year.
It's pretty interesting to me because I don't know, like. You hear guys, patterning bucks and stuff, and I think it's very true when you talk to these guys that shoot a lot of whitetail. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can literally year after year. Here's this buck. Here he is 3 years later.
Well, the thing is, if you're let's say you've hunted the migration your whole life for mule deer, that's a whole different ball game.
Right.
We've like Ryan has said on earlier films, which he had heard from someone else. Every night when the sun goes down, the deck gets shuffled and a whole new group of bucks come in. And on some of those migration hunts, we have never seen the same deer twice.
No.
Same spot we go 6 years in a row, and we've never seen the same deer 2 years in a row. So that's a whole different situation that we're talking about. But when you're in an area where the deer don't migrate, they're localized, and especially with a home range like a Coues deer, some other whitetails as well, if you see a giant, odds are, come back the next year and get in the same spot, and he'll be in that same area, if not that same scrape, a year later on those same dates. So very interesting. And sure enough, he was there hitting the scrapes, and we are tightening the noose. Now, we could have taken a shot on the first day. We could have taken a shot on this day at about 550, 600 yards.
Yeah.
But we just like getting close. Part of it's the hunt that we want to experience. We want to experience the challenge of getting closer, and having both been experienced bow hunters, and you as well, but Lampers and I, getting closer is kind of like it doesn't feel like a burden at all.
Well, and the big thing I would say too is we don't take a shortcut usually and like to get from point A to point B. Instead, we go around the backside of the ridge, and it might be a mile hike instead of a quarter-mile hike or half a mile.
You can see in the video, we're on this side. The deer is here. We're on this side. We go all the way around, climb the top of the mountain, and get up high. And we want that bird's nest view because everything will be within 275 to 380. And we basically could shoot in any direction in a 180 degree.
And you could have gone a more
Straight at 'em.
direct route, but you're not elevated, and so that limits your ability to see that whole basin. Where
Your
you're
visibility is still pretty narrow.
at.
Yeah, so we wanted to get high if you can. Elevation is king.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to get there without them knowing we're there. Keeps your scent up high where we got, but put us within a tight range for taking a shot. And we know, look at that deer. He motored. He motored in, he motored out. And if he got on a doe or if he starts, we know that if that deer,
You can keep eyes on him.
just to keep eyes on him, he could go all around and just motor all over, which if you tune in next week, you might see some of that. And it's just like they move so much and so fast and never hold still.
It's crazy, too, because they're always like so neurotic, skittish. I don't know what it is. Just they're...
When you get eyes on them, especially with Coues, because you and Hunter got in a position on a nice buck, but you were... there
was no place to really get much elevation to see where he was at.
They had a very difficult time killing the buck they were after, given the situation that they were in, where Lamperts and I had a much more, the terrain we had and the features we were working with made it virtually impossible for this deer to get away. We're closing in. So if you want to see what happens next, tune in next Sunday. Like we said, if you want to be entered to win a pair of Peaks trekking poles, leave us a comment below, like and subscribe to the channel. We thank you for that. And if you want to be entered to win the ultimate backcountry hiking package, that's poles, backpacks, gaiters, headlamps, boots, orthotics, all that kind of stuff. Just shop at the Gritty store. Get yourself a hat, t-shirt, sweatshirt, especially the sweatshirts, as we have an excess inventory of those. And head over to stealthyhunter.com. Use the code GRITTY. Shop over there, get the rifle cover, the glassing pad, the supplements, nutrition, and you'll be entered to win a big prize package over there. Maybe I'll see you at the Western Hunting Summit as well. And if you want to see some live streams, which we do every Monday night, and this Monday it's actually going to be done by Ryan Lampers, you can become a member of the Gritty Stealthy community at gritty.locals.com. If you join up over there and become a member, it's $7 a month, and you get access to a private community over there. Cool people. It's kind of like a private Facebook group. And we have bonus films over there, and we do live streams every Monday night. There's a calendar up there for when we do the streams. You can check that out. Become a member. It's cool for those that are interested. We plan on dropping 6 bonus films over there that will only be available to the local supporters. So if you want to get in on that, we have 2 dropping in the spring, 2 in late summer, and 2 in the fall. So if you want to get in on all of that, just go become a member. Like I said, it's $77 a month or
$77 a year.
$77 for the year on an annual subscription. So join us over there if you want. If not, we'll see you here next week. Thanks for tuning in, and stay gritty.